University of Applied. Women and children. And this law, if you will look at the title, Anti-Violence Against Women, unlike in the US, where the title of their law is Anti-Violence Against Spouses and Children. So if you look at the Philippine law, it does not cover men. It only covers women, anti-violence against women and children. So are we not gender sensitive, or are we gender insensitive because men are not covered by the law? Well, we need really a protection from men who are battling their spouses or their partners. This 9262, RA Republic of 9262, is a law which arose out of a case in the Philippines wherein a battered wife killed her husband. And there was no way of acquitting this woman who suffered from battery from the husband for a very long time. So in the decision, although there were mitigating circumstances, battery is a cycle when it comes to domestic battery. And the woman would always say, maybe if I did not love my husband, he will not beat me up. So women will always say, it's their fault. That's why they were beaten up by their spouses. But with this 9262, it arose out of that case. And the Supreme Court of the Philippines rather our Senate to pass a law for the protection of women and children. So that's the history of RA 9262. In this Republic Act 9262 in the Philippines, the partner spouse, the women discovers not only spouses, but also the partners, those who had sexual relationship in just even for once, no? They are covered by the same and is covered by the children are also covered by this law. And the woman as well as the children can file criminal or civil cases. So when they file criminal cases, does the partner, the spouse, or the father will be incarcerated. Unfortunately for those who are suffering from poverty, it all boils down to poverty. Children as well as their mother will come to me or will come to court and say, we will just desist from prosecuting our father, from prosecuting my husband. Why? Because we do not have anything to eat if he will be incarcerated. Because he's a breadwinner. You see, it's gender stereotype, no? That the men are the breadwinners. What do? We provide, we ask the local, the DSWD, the Department of Social Welfare and Services, or Department, the Development, and then we ask them to provide for the mother for an amount for her to start her business. But it's a cycle. Battery is a cycle. So they go back to their husbands, they go back to their partners who beat them up. Okay. Gender stereotyping is defined, no? You can look into my footnote and you can read further. Gender stereotyping is defined. What is gender stereotyping? It has been defined as a generalized view or preconception about attributes or characteristics that are ought to be possessed by women and men, or roles that are or should be performed by men and women. Sometimes we see this at home. And our parents become our idols or become our examples. And as we grow up, we follow their footsteps. If the father sits in a rapture in the morning to read newspaper, then it follows that the son will do the same, while the mother is preparing for breakfast. And that daughter, the daughter will also do the same. Okay? When they become family men or family women. Gender is defined. Now we have systemic disadvantage for women. Here, the structure and organization of society is built on stereotypes. This systematic disadvantage for women in the workplace, in political life, and in the home are more pronounced than in men, despite the progress in law and policy protecting women's human rights. Why? You see, in the Philippines, we were colonized by the Spaniards for 300 years. So where do we get all this stereotyping from them? In Indonesia, Netherlands occupied them for several years, but because of active women within our country and in Indonesia, then we are trying to eradicate this gender stereotyping at every level of our society. Okay? So, gender stereotypes, we have descriptive and prescriptive qualities. Sometimes, if you have, let's say, a wife becomes pregnant, and after 4 or 5 months, she found out that she is carrying a baby girl, then she will be buying pink, everything pink. Is that not stereotyping? Can a baby girl not use blue or wear blue or any other color. So you see, a member of the family who is still a baby is now led to having some gender stereotypes or gender roles. I wear pink because I am a baby girl. I wear blue because I am a baby boy. That's what we do with our children. And not only in colors, but with regard to our household chores or household duties. Boys are not supposed to wash dishes. Girls are supposed to do all the cleaning and cooking. And when they grow up, the men will follow what we call gender stereotype. They are breadwinners. The women become homemakers. The descriptive quality. It describes the traits or attributes that people associate with a typical man or woman. They provide a common scale of what people think to be the way men and women behave in average. Okay, you're a woman, you have, when we have visitors, you're not supposed to mingle with us, you stay at the back. And they will call the son and introduce the son. We have also prescriptive quality concerns the standards of behavior from which deviations will be punished. It involves behaviors and traits that men and women should display. There are positive prescriptions and those that they should not display. These negative prescriptions. So if you're a girl, especially in the Philippines or in some other Southeast Asian countries, they're not supposed to ride a bike. Because this is, the father will say, no, you're not supposed to ride a bike because you are a girl. You might be
lose virginity.
yes, you might lose your virginity by just riding a bike. Yeah. And bike should be used by boys. But here, we see the bikers are very aggressive here.
Yeah, they are.
Well, before we came, while in the Philippines, Attorney Julian and I planned to use bicycles in Amsterdam. But when we saw all these bicycles, the riders will just push and push there. Oh my God, we cannot do it here. We have to do it in the Philippines. Now, descriptive stereotypes, this is it. When you say descriptive, you know the role for the men and you know the role for the women. Sometimes race or religion. There are still women in the Philippines who wear long dresses, who have long hairs, because it's what the religion dictates. That's gender stereotyping with regard to religion. Prescriptive stereotypes. This is what you have to do. You were born to be a boy, so you have to do all these things, all the things that a boy must do. When you come home, you just leave your shoes there, you must leave your bag there, let the wife get all those and fix all those, and the wife will give also your slippers for you to be ready to eat your dinner, or for you to be ready to read your newspaper. 4 types of gender stereotypes. We have sex stereotype. See, it's a generalized view or preconception about the physical, including biological, emotional, and cognitive attributes or characteristics that are or should be possessed by men and women. You are a woman, you are weaker. You belong to the weaker sex. But when I teach in the College of Law, Persons and Family Relations, I always tell my students, you see, what determines the sex of the person is the sperm cell of the man. Why is it that there are so many women? Because the sperm cell for the man, I always give this as an example, cannot pass by or cannot outlive the sperm cell for woman in an acidic surrounding. So meaning, does that mean that women are stronger than men, and men are weaker than women. But these are gender insensitivity. No? We strive to have equality, gender equality. Now, sexual stereotype. Another one, the first one is sex stereotype. Another one is sexual stereotype. It's a generalized view or preconception about the sexual characteristics or behaviors that women and men are expected to possess. So you say men are greater in bed, or they have this libido which is very strong, other than women who they call sometimes as frigid. If you do not respond, these are sexual stereotypes. Sexual stereotype. The third one is sexual stereotype. As I said, women are not supposed to go to college. They have to be homemakers, so they have to learn how to cook. They have to learn how to clean. This is a generalized view or preconception about the roles that women and men do or are expected to perform, and the types of behaviors that they possess or to which they are expected to conform. The fourth one is compound stereotype. So this is now the combination of all three. This is a generalized view or preconception about groups that result from the ascription or attributes, characteristics, or roles based on one or more other traits. It is a sex stereotype, a sexual stereotype, and a sexual stereotype that combines with another stereotypes. What are these stereotypes? No? Persons with disability. Sometimes we discriminate with persons with disability, and they belong to this compound stereotype. Second is that those who belong to a certain age. In US, they have this called baby boomers, and they are now about to retire. And for us, I'm almost senior, too away shy from being a senior. So I will belong to a group of seniors, and senior citizens in the Philippines are very proud to be seniors. Why? They have two citizenships. They're Filipino citizens, and they are senior citizens. And being a senior citizen in the Philippines, you will have so many perks. You will have 20% in all the things that you will buy, plus 12% back, you have 32%. And in some municipalities in the Philippines, like in Makati City, a very rich city, there are days where senior citizens can enter these cinemas for free. Okay. And if you're a senior citizen, is it stereotyping if you will just allow them to sit in front? The seats are reserved for senior citizens. One time when I was in the US, and I did not know that these seats have their marks, I sat in one of the chairs there, and people were looking at me. And I asked my friend there, best friend, why are they looking at me? Because you're seated at the chair for a senior citizen. But these are groups. They belong to compound stereotype. Now, stereotypes of whites, stereotypes of lesbians, stereotypes of gays, stereotypes of cross-dressers, stereotypes of queers, and others. We are not supposed to discriminate based on these stereotypes. Now, gender distinguished from sex. Sex refers to the biological differences between men and women. Now, we have now a law in the Philippines wherein if you were born, newly born child, of course, it's the father or the mother. It's the father or the mother who will give information or details on the birth of their child. So there will be birth certificates. Do you have birth certificates here? Because in some other Southeast Asian, they do not have this, and the Muslims too in the Philippines, they do not have birth certificates unless they will be required to do so. So if we register the birth of our children, we'll find one of the, what do you call this? One of the details to be stated therein is the sex. And we say male or female. So it refers to the biological difference. Why do we say it's a male? Because it has a penis. Why do we say it's a female? Because she has a vagina. But when we talk of gender, it refers to socially constructed identities, attributes, and roles for women and men. So at the age of 18, and you fill out a form, it says there is sex, there is what we call gender preference. Gender preference, what do you prefer? You be a lesbian, you be a gay, but it's not, it's already accepted in the Philippines, okay? And we are being educated on how to deal with them. So this gender refers to socially constructed identities, attributes, and roles for women and men, and society's social and cultural meaning for these biological differences, resulting in hierarchical relationships. But these hierarchical relationships, now, it produced a hierarchy, it produced a hierarchy in the distribution of power and rights, favoring men and disadvantaging women. But you see, as I look at you all, we have only 3 men inside you. So we are women dominated, but we are not supposed to discriminate. Okay, progress in law and policy protecting women's human rights. This you can find also if you look at the footnote. You can make some notes, you can read. Across the world, women represent only 35% of STEM students in higher education. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and just 30% of the world's researchers. Why? Because this STEM is always available by men. Why? Are men better when it comes to numbers? Are they better than men? Than women? It's just that when I look at my 3 children, I have 2 girls and 1 boy. Just a typical girl or woman, or just like me, we always have this multitasking. We do not just focus on one. If you are a woman, you do everything because you think you have so many roles in life, you have so many goals in life. But you see, the man is like my son. No, he won't think of any other unless he finishes the one he is looking at as his task. So, if they are thinking in a box, they do not overexert themselves, unlike us women, we are always on the go. Why? Because of gender stereotyping. We feel that we have to do everything, we have to work, we have to earn our keeps, we have to take care of our children, and if they are sick, we have to file our leave application for leave and bring the children to the doctor or the hospital. Why don't you let your husband do that? Okay, you take your leave, you bring your children, but we cannot. We say, oh my God, what happened to my child? I do not know if my husband brought him to the hospital or to the doctor. Well, that's gender stereotyping on our part. No? Okay. Women in contemporary Southeast Asia. The end of World War II signaled the demise of European colonialism in Southeast Asia. But if you look at the different arts, paintings during the colonialism, there is what we call stereotyping, which is spoken by the works before, during the colonialism. There is a very, very pronounced stereotyping wherein we as the colonized people are subjected to by our colonizers. So it still is in our system. So theoretically, the independent states that emerged over the next 15 years were committed to gender equality, but this has rarely been translated into reality. In recent years, the number of women holding public office has increased, yes. Attorney Judith Morgan is a municipal councillor for several years, and she is very active when it comes to women's rights, especially in local government, but